Hello there, lovely fans of Screen Rant. I'm Ryan here with Rob.
Hey guys.
Today we're back with another episode of Theory Battle.
If this is your first episode of Theory Battle, here's the rundown. Ryan and I are gonna go head to head with two different film theories.
And this one's gonna delve into the world of the X-Men, those special little mutants with the confusing timelines and the questionable age differences. We'll each present one in detail, try to convince you it's the best thing you've ever heard, and then you guys decide in the comments section which one of them is the most likely to be true.
Or maybe you think they're both just complete gibberish. That's possible too. Our feelings won't be hurt.
Speak for yourself, Rob. I'm very sensitive.
It's gonna be okay, Ryan.
You don't know that. So anyway, today we're gonna be taking a look at two possible theories as to how the X-Men could join the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as if there weren't enough characters in there already.
Before we jump into this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell if you haven't already. That'll let you stay up to date with all our new stuff.
New stuff like theory battles, lists, pitch meetings, straight up film theories without any battling. We have a lot of cool stuff going on.
So Ryan, how about you kick us off with your theory?
Don't mind if I do. So just as some background, in case you don't know why we're even talking about the X-Men joining the MCU, it's because the people over at Disney have a lot of money, and they took some of that money, $71.3 billion of it to be exact, and they bought a little company called 21st Century Fox. That purchase is bringing a whole lot of stuff into the House of Mouse,
including some properties that don't really feel like Disney stuff. We're talking Alien, Predator, those super violent and awesome Kingsman movies.
They're also getting some stuff that fits right in with the Disney we know today. I mean, they're finally getting their hands on the super elusive rights to the first Star Wars film. That movie was hovering around them like the last Infinity Stone they couldn't quite get their hands on or something. Then they're also getting Avatar, which it's pretty obvious that they love, seeing as they opened a whole big Avatar section at their Florida theme park.
Anyway, for the purpose of these theories, what's important to know is that a huge part of that Disney and Fox deal is Disney owning the rights to the X-Men, and that means the door is now open for the X-Men to waddle into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're talking Wolverine fighting alongside the Hulk,
or Captain America fighting alongside Cyclops,
and Hawkeye fighting alongside this guy with weird porcupine powers.
So with that out of the way, here's the theory I'm presenting as to how that could happen. The theory says that Professor X has been hiding the mutants.
What, has he been stashing them all inside the mansion?
Yeah, no, I don't think that'd be too comfortable, all squished in there together. Whoever gets pressed up against Iceman gets frostbite. Whoever gets pressed up against Rogue straight up dies. No, the kind of hiding that this theory says Professor X did was more in line with, and I don't want to get all Liam Neeson on you, but it has to do with his particular set of skills.
Baldness.
Nope, he didn't hide them with baldness. The theory is that the X-Men are kind of keeping their stuff on the down low at the moment in the MCU, but it wasn't always that way. In fact, all the events of the X-Men movies, well, depending on what timeline we're going with, actually could have happened in the same world that the Avengers repeatedly saved, except that one time.
But wait, how is that possible?
Well, if you hadn't noticed, the X-Men movies always have this theme that humans are afraid of mutants and they're not seen as equal and all that. Non-mutants have been kind of mean to mutants, and it's led to some pretty cool fight scenes over the years. But it's also a solid justification for Professor X taking a major step to protect mutant kind. We know that with Cerebro inside that giant room that probably has amazing acoustics for practicing your singing voice, Professor X can access everyone's minds. So the theory says that at a certain point he'll have said, okay, you know what, enough is enough. This is all getting way too crazy, and just kind of wipe the memory of mutants ever existing out of people's heads.
So people would have witnessed all the craziness of the X-Men movies but just forgotten about it?
That's the idea.
Seems a little, I don't know, nuts?
Yeah, it sounds like a stretch, but it's actually not. In fact, it's actually not that far-fetched at all, seeing as it's something that's been done in the comics by another character. If you haven't heard of this character, Sentry, he's a super powerful character that was introduced in the year 2000 as an established character that everyone had forgotten about.
That's convenient.
Yeah, the whole thing was that he'd been around for years and years, but because he wanted to protect everyone from his nemesis, the Void, he used his telepathy to make everyone forget he was ever there.
Kind of like a Jedi mind trick, but on a worldwide scale.
Exactly, and that's definitely something that Professor X would be capable of doing with Cerebro. If he felt that the threat against mutants was reaching a point of no return, he could be like, you know what, you should start calling us the X-Men in Black because you're about to forget we were ever here.
So when would Marvel bring them in then?
Well, Avengers 4 is probably out of the question unless they shoot some kind of quick post-credit scene. There's way too much going on in that movie for the X-Men to also pop up and be like, hey, by the way, we're here too. What's going on? How can we help? If this theory is true, this would all kind of happen somewhere in phase 4 of the MCU. And if that's the case, it's actually kind of perfect. With Captain Marvel next year, the MCU seems to be heading down a path that's going to be super focused on a secret invasion type storyline involving the Skrulls.
Right, they're the shape-shifting alien race.
Yeah, so if the Avengers are hunting down those dudes that are hiding in plain sight, they might accidentally get onto a certain trail and be like, aha, we're about to uncover a bunch of Skrulls that are in hiding. But then that trail would actually lead them to discover that mutants have been in hiding this whole time too. That would give the mutants no choice but to pop out of hiding and be like, yeah, hey, we're not the bad guys. We're just other good guys that are in hiding. Although we do have some shapeshifters that are kind of evil, it's a long story. Or if Marvel wants to make things really interesting, they'll have that misunderstanding stretch out as an entire movie, have an Avengers versus X-Men film. So much potential for awesome fight scenes with that.
That does sound pretty awesome. I'd love to see a Thor versus Storm lightning battle.
So what's your theory, Rob? How will Marvel make the X-Men enter the MCU?
Well, the theory that I'm going to be presenting today says that the Infinity Stones unlock mutations.
Ooh, tying it all together to Infinity War.
Oh yeah, I mean, Marvel likes to say that it's all connected, so this would fit nicely into that.
They would have used it's all part of the plan, but the Joker kinda got to that one first.
So this theory comes from a user on Reddit named meme_abstinent, which I guess means he doesn't look at memes for some reason. Why wouldn't you look at memes?
Memes are awesome.
They're great. What's this guy's problem? Anyway, despite his weird name, his theory is pretty cool. He says that Marvel is going to kind of rewrite the origin of the mutated genes that the X-Men used to be X-Men.
Oh, if there's one thing comic book fans love, it's when you seriously modify origin stories.
Yeah, some people definitely won't be happy about this. But this is the internet, and there's always going to be unhappy people. Plus, in this theory, they recast all the X-Men, so there's an extra layer of anger to be had there. So what this Reddit user says is that the origins of the X-Men in the MCU is actually going to be directly connected to the events of Avengers 4. They're not going to actually show up in Avengers 4, but the birth of the X-Men will be traced back to whatever happens in that movie. Basically, the idea behind the theory is that exposure to the power of the Infinity Stones is what activates the mutant gene inside of people.
But half the population was exposed to the powers of the Infinity Stones. Are you saying that all the people that come back from Dustland are suddenly gonna be mutants? Like, is Spider-Man gonna be an Avenger and an X-Men?
No. Not everybody's gonna turn into a mutant. The mutant gene is just something that was lying around dormant in a few people, not every single person that turned to dust. So when the heroes somehow save the day in Avengers 4 and manage to reverse the snap, some people are gonna return from Snapland with this mutant gene now awake inside of them. That's gonna lead to them mutating and developing some awesome powers.
So is there any basis to this theory, or did this guy just grab it out of the blue?
No, the groundwork is actually already there for Marvel to go down this road in a pretty smooth way. Let's take a look at everybody's favorite android-loving witch, Wanda Maximoff. She developed her powers after being exposed to the Reality Stone, so Marvel essentially has the perfect character to rebrand as a mutant here. They can easily be like, yeah, see, we've always said that being exposed to Infinity Stones can unlock powers, so it's all connected. It's all part of the plan.
True, plus her brother is Quicksilver. I mean, in the MCU, he's dead now, but we're pretty familiar with that little speedster on the X-Men side of things too.
And plus, since Scarlet Witch has lost her family and her android boyfriend, she's gonna be pretty keen to find another group of friends. She'd be perfect as a kind of leader of this group of outsiders that are all suddenly getting powers.
So what about characters like Wolverine and Magneto that have been around for a super long time?
Well, Marvel also has the option to modify their origin stories to fit with this too. Maybe Red Skull ran some tests on Magneto with the Tesseract during the Second World War. Maybe Wolverine encountered an Infinity Stone a couple of hundred years ago. It's not that hard to explain if they want to. What's also nice about this theory is that it really preserves the essence of what makes the X-Men so compelling, the whole social commentary side of it.
Right, like how people are afraid of people that are different from them?
Yeah, Scarlet Witch is already the most feared character in the eyes of the public after Civil War, and now you suddenly have people that came back from the dead developing mutant abilities. You can bet that so-called normal people won't be super thrilled about that.
Right, that social divide's gonna be going strong. So let's go through a quick recap of the two theories so you guys at home can decide which one you think is the most plausible. My theory says that Professor X used Cerebro to erase all memory of mutants ever existing. He would have done this as a way to protect them from an increasingly hostile world. There's a precedent for something like this with the character Sentry, so it's not out of left field. And mutants would come out of hiding because of the upcoming Secret Invasion storyline.
And my theory says that the events of Avengers 4 will give birth to the X-Men. Being exposed to the power of the Infinity Stones would unlock the mutant gene in certain people. Marvel will rebrand Scarlet Witch as a mutant since she got her powers from a stone, and there's going to be a social divide between mutants and non-mutants.
So now it's time to turn it over to you guys in the YouTube comment section. Which of these two theories do you think is the most likely to be true? Has Professor X been using his big bald head to hide mutants this whole time? Or does being exposed to the power of Infinity Stones help people develop mutant abilities?
Or do you think Marvel will use some other way to explain the X-Men entering the MCU? Maybe we're gonna enter an alternate timeline or something.
Or maybe they just won't have them enter the MCU at all. Let us know what you think about all this in the comments section below. If this was your first episode of Theory Battle, we've done some other episodes you should definitely check out. Just recently we did one about how exactly the heroes might bring down Thanos in the next Avengers movie.
One of us said that the Avengers will get their own Infinity Gauntlet and time travel to collect all the stones in the past, and the other one said that Captain America will sacrifice himself so they can get their hands on the Soul Stone.
That second one's a little depressing, but the theories are pretty fun nonetheless. Definitely check them out if you haven't already and let us know what you think.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay up to date with all our new stuff. We have a lot of awesome videos on the way.
As always, don't forget to check back soon for another episode. Bye-bye.